Eagles. You're hard on the Eagles.
I just think they were so obnoxious last year. They were so obnoxious.
Well, they're having a little trouble this year. When Jay Ajayi is done for the season, we talked about that at the beginning of the show, so they're in desperate need of running back help. And get this, they have reportedly reached out to the Bills about a possible trade for LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Bring it on
Shady
back.
McCoy.
He's the Eagles' all-time leading rusher. Played the first 6 seasons of his career with the Eagles.
No, he's still great.
Yes, yeah. And he was unceremoniously shipped to the Bills as part of Chip Kelly's drastic house cleaning in 2014 that did well for Chip Kelly's reputation.
That'd be fun.
It would be interesting to see him back in Eagles jersey. And I think, I think his, just aside from the fact that obviously he was an Eagle, I think this particular Eagles team fits well with LaShawn. Like the Chip Kelly situation, obviously everything fell apart with that whole situation. But I think the way that the Eagles are constructed now, he'd fit right in that situation. Obviously, they need running back help. So Deshaun Watson's been taking a beating through 5 games. He's been sacked 18 times.
Oh, boy.
Now, a lot of that has to do with their offensive line, but Bill O'Brien obviously wants to see a reduction on the number of plays as he's getting knocked around.
He's a great competitor. He's trying to help his team win. But obviously, those are plays that we want to cut down on. That's not a sustainable way to play.
Now,
it's not.
Obviously, he's getting sacked a lot, but he also took a couple hits in this last game that just, I mean, that hit, this hit.
Oh, God.
What are you, like, what? I'm watching this, and I literally said out loud, what are you doing?
No, both.
What are you doing?
Oh, look at that.
He can't help that situation, but this, there's no way you're running through Jalen Smith. You're not doing it.
Those
you're just not running through him.
The TV show Batman, pow, bang, smash.
Yes.
Oh, God, those are shots.
You got to slide. You can't.
Oh.
That's RG3S. Like, where you're just looking at it like, in what version of reality are you running through?
By the way,
defenders?
Andrew Luck did some of this when he first broke into this league, and Big Ben did some of this, and Cam did some of this, and by the way, they all got beat up. Like, you can't do this.
You cannot take hits like that. You just can't. And Deshaun Watson is a great talent. It was exciting to watch last year, obviously, before his terrible injury.
By the way, he's day-to-day with a chest injury. The Houston Chronicle said he's day-to-day with a chest injury.
Yeah, you got to watch those hits. Finally, Luke Walton made some interesting comments yesterday when he was asked about the noise of the new-look Lakers.
Yeah.
He thinks the noise will be louder than the Shaq-Kobe teams that he was a part of.
There's going to be more noise than any one of us has ever been through before. I think this is going to be more only because of the world we live in.
What do you think? I don't know. I think I agree with him. Because social media has taken it to another level, and NBA and social media is on even another level than every other sport. So I do think with LeBron and Lonzo and just the buzz around the team right now, it could excel to that level, especially if there's some drama.
Shaq and Kobe, it's just the world's changed, and everybody's chatting and everybody's talking, and players are breaking stories. The Lakers are going to be the highest rated.
For the Lakers either, because we know LeBron doesn't practice like that, and it's going to take a little time to get this all together. So that's going to make it even more interesting. But yeah, I think he's right about that. With social media and just the saturation of coverage these days that wasn't around then, it's just a different world.
Yeah,
it'll be different.
Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Third Line News.
Can I just say, give me 60 seconds on this. Give me 90 seconds. I just thinking about this today. Is that I'm a sportscaster. Now, I work out every day, so I sweat, but I'm not an athlete, right? Like, over the weekend, Conor McGregor fought an undefeated fighter from Russia, Khabib, and they were fighters, and then a fight broke out at the fight after the fight. You don't say. And they both hate each other. Shocking. Here's the one thing I'll say about the UFC to support it. And I see the media do this all the time. If you train for 6 months to be an attack dog, a barbarian, a relentless fighter, And then because a buzzer goes off and the fight's over, you are suddenly a sophisticated gentleman who plays by the rules. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. If you are a trash-talking barbarian and you are ripping a guy's religion and he's ripping you and I'm making threats and I'm talking about your family, and then because a bell rings to say the fight is over, you think these athletes can just suddenly go, okay, let's be proper, put on our tennis attire, our gamesmanship. And there was a lot of hate for 6 months in that fight. And I'm not saying this is good, but sometimes in the media, we don't understand. Boxing's had this happen multiple times. We've had fights at boxing and UFC press conferences. You don't have a team. When you're a man fighting another man in an octagon, in a cage, you are a warrior, and because a bell sounds, you're still a warrior.
You also have to be a professional. That's the difference between you fighting in the street for free and fighting in front of millions of people and making millions of dollars. You're a professional. There's different rules.
I don't know. I think these guys are wired differently.
Yeah, of course they're wired differently. But at the end of the day, that still remains. There's a reason there's a cage around it, and there's not just people walking up and throwing punches in.
Look at this. The announcer had blood on him.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Well, that's what the fight is.
That's so gross.
I'm just supporting two attacking barbarian professional athletes.
I am totally supportive of the barbarian attacking the other barbarian inside of the cage that they have allowed them to fight in. And then I'd like to pay my money and go and watch. I'll sit far enough back that hopefully I don't get blood splashed on me. If I do, that's fine. That comes with the territory. What I don't want is a flying barbarian human in my face.
Well, I just think this sport is, you have to be such a crazy person to be in that sport. I said it before. You could take Drew Brees, who was great last night. If you went to Drew Brees this morning and say, hey, Drew, I'll give you $10 million if you do a UFC cage fight. He plays in a violent sport.
He should pass on that.
And Drew Brees would go, are you nuts?
He should pass on that.
I would never do that. Even professional athletes in violent sports look at UFC and go, yeah, I'm not going to ever do anything like that. I think you have to be a crazy person to do that.
You do have to be a crazy person to do that, but you can't be so crazy that you put the people who are paying you the money that you make money off of in danger.
I don't think you can separate the two. I think if you're crazy enough to do that, you can't go uncrazy.
It'll make the sport fall apart. There's levels to this. Like I understand that people said horrible things to him. Culturally, I'm struggling with having a lot of compassion, like for the world that we live in.
Right.
People are going to say horrible things to you. You got to have a thicker skin than that. That's just what it is. You can't jump out of the cage. What happens when he jumps out of the octagon, starts chasing after someone, and there's say a woman sitting there who gets trampled and and something terrible happens to her, she's in the hospital. Then what?
You just pay her hospispital bills.
What if it's 15 people? What if it's not one woman? What if it's 15 people?
Your hospital bills are way more expensive.
It can't happen.
I don't know. I think you're trying to ask crazy people, oh, bell went off, don't be crazy.
I'm not saying don't be crazy. Just keep it in between the cage with the thing.
All right. Don't be that guy in the room with the long, sloppy-looking untucked shirt. Untuckit.com, code HERD. GQ calls it perfection. GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly. They're not crazy there. Untuckit.com, code HERD, 20% off. Coming up, might be Drew Brees' most impressive stat, and nobody's talking about it. Best for last, next.
Come on, Dad.
Hey.